Hello. Hey, I got something to say. First of all, yes, blue and white, Villanova. If you follow basketball, Sweet 16 starts today. So I got to support. I even have Villanova napkins somewhere. But anyhow, what I want to talk about with you today is something that you have been wanting to talk about forever. And so I've been doing it a long, but I decided that we're going to do it again. And it's money, right? It's money. Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
We were talking about money. And Ann, when it came up, it wasn't your name. And I'm thinking, who am I letting in here? How are you, Ann?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. So just so you know, I haven't had anybody on about money in a long time on the show. And then I had somebody on recently and they're like, wait a minute. Can you please bring somebody else on that can explain to me how I can retire earlier? And I was like, whoa, wait, do I have somebody in mind? Ann is in the house. That's you, baby. So before we get into it, I'm just going to tell them a little bit about you. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
All right. So first of all, shout out to HBS grad, which we will be back soon in a few days. That's where I met Ann, and she inspired me, and I said I had to have her on the show. Ann Lester is the former portfolio manager and head of retirement solutions for JPMorgan Asset Management Solutions Group. Retired, look, she looks like she's in her 20s in 2020. She is on a mission to help Americans, all ages, but particularly those in their 20s and 30s, understand that it is possible for them to achieve a happy retirement on their time and target. Amen, sister. She is currently working on a book which will help younger savers understand how to overcome their own behavioral biases and set out on the path to long-term saving success. I don't know, Ann. Listen, everyone I talk to has said to me, during COVID, you would think they saved money, but they didn't. They spent. I'm not a shopper, but I gotta whisper. My husband, it was like every other day Amazon was delivering something. All he did was shop, shop, shop. What's with this instant gratification? I don't understand.
So that's a great place to start this conversation. And thanks, again for having me on here because I get excited talking about saving money. Part I was so bad at it, right? I mean, I really, I'll just say it. I just sucked at saving when I was in my 20s and 30s, and it took me a long time to stop blaming myself because I was that impulse person, right? The stuff I wanted, and I bought it, and it took me a long time to forgive myself for not understanding basically that my brain, and I think I'm an extreme case of it, is wired not to delay gratification. Like I see something I wanted, it's the money's in my checking account, I buy it. Or worse, I got the room on my credit card, I'll buy it, right? That's even worse. And it's something called temporal discounting, fancy name, but basically what it
Wait. Temporal discounting. So wait, excuse for my husband?
Yeah, temporal is time and discounting, right? So what it means is stuff that's far away from us, like paying off your credit card or saving money for retirement instead of spending it for yourself right now when you see something you want, right? That future is so far away. I talk about tomorrow guy, like that's tomorrow guy's problem. Today guy or gal wants the shoes because they're cool and they fit. And when was the last time you bought a really cool pair of shoes that fit, right? So you buy them. Do you need them?
Yeah.
Maybe. Do you want them? Hell yes. Do you have a credit card or do you have money in your bank account? Yep. And off it goes, right? You don't think about yourself in 30 years and what that money could do for you over 30 years, what it would be growing in your 401k plan or in your IRA or just in an investment account. So that temporal discounting is one of the hardest things. I mean, I don't think you can like overcome it. Like it's just the way our brains work. So you have to You have to hack yourself and make yourself, figure out the best way for you to save that money automatically before it's temptation in your face.
Okay,
But
so
COVID, right? I mean, I think us we're feeling deprived or lonely, or I mean, for me, it wasn't spending money so much as someone was referred to this morning to their COVID belly, and I'm like, yeah, I got a little of that going on. I mean, we took our comfort where we found it.
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time. My husband, are you an emotional eater or you're an emotional spender? You know what I mean? So let's break that down. Now that we realize, don't feel guilty. There's a reason. Don't beat yourself up is what I'm hearing. But just like I say, recognize that's the way you wired. And now what? So I'm going to use the analogy of working out. Let's say you really hate it and you haven't formed the habit yet. Then it's not a bad idea to have an accountability partner, somebody you're going to meet at the gym, a class you're taking, or a trainer. So would it be advisable to say, this is not my strength? Maybe I'm going to start out meeting with someone that's going to help me save even just a little bit when I just can't possibly think, how's that going to affect me when I'm 60?
Absolutely. So, I think there are a lot of amazing resources out there, and I hope I'm going to be adding to them with the book that is not coming out for a couple of years. So it won't be in time to help anybody listening to this conversation. But, one of the things that's really important, and I think the accountability partner is key, right? If you have enough saved up to work with a financial advisor, I think one of the best things a financial advisor can help you manage your own spending and cash flow decisions, right? To me, that's huge. If you don't have that kind of money, and usually financial advisors want you to have at least $50,000 or $100,000 saved up, which is going to blow a lot of people's minds. Like that's real money. If you're lucky enough to work for a company that offers a 401k plan, that right there is a great start, because that money comes out of your paycheck before it hits your checking account. Like you never see it. And a great way to get going, if your company hasn't automatically signed you up, and a lot of companies do. So step one, check if your company has one. Check if they signed you up, because you might not even be paying attention. You might already be saving money. But if you're only saving, call it, the standard rate that companies generally sign people up at is about 3% of your paycheck, and then they'll kick in maybe 1.5%. If you're saving at that low level, promise yourself the next time you see a raise, maybe it'll be this year, maybe it'll be a little while later, the next time you see a raise, put half of it into your savings. So half of it starts with your paycheck. Sometimes it's really hard today to find that money to save, especially with gas prices going up and rent going up in a lot of areas. So it may be tough to find that money to save. If you can, great. 1%. If you increase savings rate by 1% a year, that's not a lot. Not a lot. In 5 years, you will be saving more money. Start piling up, and you'll turn around in 5 or 10 years and go, how do you do that? And if you link the timing of when you increase your savings rate from 3% to 4%, from 4% to 5%, to those moments when you get a raise, if you're lucky and you get one every year, that's a great way to do it. You won't even notice you're saving more, because your paycheck's still going to go up a little bit, right? You get a raise from, call it, $80,000 to $85,000. You save 1% of that. That's a lot less than your raise, right? So you just start pushing it up. You'll be earning more money. You'll be having a little more money in your pocket to spend, but you'll also be saving more. And that's another way to trick your brain, because you don't have to sacrifice today, which is so painful. You're sacrificing tomorrow. That's tomorrow guy's problem. But if you follow through with it, accountability partner can help you follow through, right? Maybe if you both agree to it and you both talk about it, right? That's right there. You're on a massive path to success right there.
So for me, I have to admit, I'm not a spender, but I'm also wasn't a saver for my retirement. And my husband would always say to me, oh my God, Sandy, you need to save for retirement. So I said, but I'm not a spender. Because you say you're not a spender, but you travel and you spend money. What you're saying is you're not spending it on shoes and restaurants, but you're still spending it. I go, yeah, but I'm experiencing, like, I'll just make more millions when I'm 60. And
Good luck with that.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I regret that I didn't listen to him as much as I should have, but I was the same way. And then somebody said, well, why didn't you make it a game? And I thought, what do you mean? So I don't know if there's something you could do, but I did ask my young people for questions for you. And the biggest thing is, yeah, how can they make it fun to save? Like, what can they do to make it fun to save so that they can get a reward? I don't know.
So, that's a great question. And I'm personally, and maybe this is because I'm not a fun person. I don't know. I don't like playing games, but I worry. And you know me well enough to know that that's not true. But I worry a little bit about gamification because I think a lot of people equate gamification with like day trading or Robinhood or like, I think that's gambling. I don't think that's investing. And what I consider to be prudent investing for retirement is kind of boring. Like you put it in a target date fund, full disclosure, that's what I used to do for a living. So I like them, but there are advisors, there's balance funds. There's a lot of ways to let somebody else worry about how to put together the right mix of stocks and bonds for you so you don't have to do it all the time. Because one of the things I see a lot is when people are trying to pick, individual companies or decide if today or tomorrow is the day they should invest some money, if it's not automatic, is you start, getting into your head and you start worrying like, oh, this Ukraine thing, prices are down, no, maybe it'll be better tomorrow. I should just wait and make a decision tomorrow because I don't want to make the wrong decision, right? From my perspective, the only wrong decision you can make is not to invest your money. That is a terrible decision, right? Everything else is like a version of better to best. But back to about gaming on savings, to me, the biggest reward is like looking at your account on your birthday every year and going, oh my God, did I do that? Look at that. Look at how much more money I have today. Now, if you do it every day, that's not so rewarding, but like you do it on your birthday once a year, that is the best ever, right? Look at what I did and look at, we talk about self-care, like look at how well I'm taking care of myself. And oh, by the way, if you have kids, I'm taking care of my kids too, because I'm not going to be a burden on them.
Yeah. Good point.
I struggle with the game thing. If anybody out there has a great idea, I'd love to hear it. To me, the power is in make it go away. Like, I just don't even want to see it. I want it to happen in the background. Like for a woman who like invested money for 20 years for other people and like has won awards for it, I do a lousy job managing my own money. I just have it in stuff I don't have to pay attention to because I don't know. I did it for a living, but it's not fun for me. So, maybe that's just me. It's work. It's work to do it well.
No, so many people say that about their own profession. Like, I know I'm a woman, she tailors clothes, but she said I would never tailor my own clothes. I just wouldn't, but I'll do it for other people. So I want to tap that, little bit. Talking about how you said you weren't great at it for yourself, but you were great at it for others. And you also said you weren't great in your 20s and 30s. So why'd you pick this profession? I need to know.
I think it's like, why do people major in psychology when they're undergrads? Like they think there's something wrong with them and they want to figure themselves out. Like seriously, like, one of the lines in the book I'm writing is, hi, I'm Ann and I'm a spender, not a saver. Like, I was terrible at it. Money literally burns a hole in my pocket. Like I go, oh goody, I got a tax refund. What can I spend it on?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you got to, but so once I learned that part of my personal problem, and I think it's more than me, I think a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people do this, right? It's a treat. It's fun. It's like so gratifying to have these things you've been thinking about and then you can do it, right? It's the best feeling in the world. And for me, once I learned that I do this not because I'm a bad person, right? Or I'm the grasshopper fiddling away and, I'm going to, starve to death over the winter, where the ants are being the good savers, right? There's a lot of moralistic, like, spenders are bad and savers are good, right? And
yeah.
get over it, right? Like, we're wired to consume what's in front of us. And if you think about it from an evolution, standing there thinking, I don't know, is that healthy? Maybe I should think about something else, right? Like, and then the saber-toothed tiger comes and eats you. So from my perspective, understand that that's how you're wired. And for me, what worked is automating as much as possible, so I don't have to think about it. And then for what you can't automate, make rules. Every time I get a raise, I'm going to save half of it. If I get a tax refund, I'm going to save half of it. If, you know, some other kind of windfall happens, you know, I don't know, maybe you get a, you know, I do not recommend buying lottery tickets, but if you do, if you win the pool, right? If you win your office pool for the basketball tournament, save half of it, right? You don't have to save all of it. Enjoy some of it, right? I'm also a big believer in, there's a whole thing out there called the FIRE movement, Financial Independence, Retire Early, that tells people basically you need to save $1 million and then you can retire and live on $40,000 a year for the rest of your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Want to live that tight, like, that's tight. So, you know, my thing is, let yourself enjoy. If you're, you know, again, if you're in the kind of career that you can predict that your salary might be going up, and again, we can also talk about folks who aren't in that position and are really struggling to find money to save, but for many people, if you're going to be getting raises, just don't spend it all. Make yourself half of it. You will enjoy a better lifestyle and you will take care of yourself.
I'm looking at some of the questions here, but there's just also a kid that said he wanted to give you a comment, and I would recommend. He goes, "Oh, I figured out a way to save money. I'm either going to bike everywhere to save gas money or hitchhike." I'm like, maybe biking and train, but I'm not going to go with the hitchhike.
You know, so I just read something in a op-ed piece in the Post today, just talking about, like, you know, inflation is real, and, you know, I guess there's been some Twitter blow up over somebody who, you know, very well intentionally said, yeah, eat lentils instead of meat. Like, that's true, but the real problem is you can't control inflation. Like, you just can't control it. So stuff, you know, that's another big thing to accept, is things you can control.
Yeah.
And things that you cannot control. So you do have in the big picture, like, control over how do you buy a car that's really gas efficient, or did you really, like, go large when gasoline got so cheap because it didn't matter? Like, when gas was $1.50 or $2 a gallon, you didn't think about filling up your tank, but it's, you know, $5 a gallon some places, $6 I saw.
Yeah.
Like, you really notice when you fill the tank up. So you can over time make adjustments, but you can't tomorrow, like, sell your large fancy ride and, you know, get a whatever, you know, Kia or whatever, little tiny car. But big picture, right? You also, one of the reasons why I'm big not only on saving for retirement, but also having an emergency fund. And actually, that's kind of more important than retirement savings. You should really have 3 to 6 months living expenses saved up, so that when something does happen, like inflation, right, you've got a little, you've got a little bit of a cushion. So you can take a month or two to figure out, like, what can I adjust? Do I feel safe biking? I would really not recommend the biking thing. Really, I would not go there. But the biking thing, you know, if you live in a safe place, it's, you know, getting lighter out, that's a safe thing to do. It's great exercise. Like, why not? But that's honestly not a realistic choice for a lot of people, right? So, but just a little push. If you've been saving a lot, then guess what? When prices go up a little faster than your paycheck's going up, you can afford to maybe, again, not long term, but for a little while you're figuring things out, maybe you can afford to save a little less because you've been good, right? As long as you stay on top of it, and maybe a little aggressively, then when something goes sideways, you can take your time to figure out how you want to respond longer term. Because to me, one of the worst things about a lot of stuff with money is we tend to make decisions in a panic. Like, the market's down, I better sell, right? And then you're out. And the market, or, oh my gosh, you know, I can't afford to fill my tank anymore. I better dump my car and buy something. Okay, man, doing that in a hurry is not a good idea. So if you can buy time to make a better decision.
Okay, so I have to ask, are you better at not impulse buying?
Now I am. I don't know if it's just because I'm older, but yeah, I'm way better.
I
And
don't think it has anything to do with age.
oh, I don't know. I am a lot better now about, well, so there's a clothing store in town that I really like, and they're like a little boutique, and they do a really good job picking stuff, and I tend to like the stuff they have. And a lot of times I will think, oh, I'll just pop by, and I'm like, you do not need anything. You are not setting foot in that store.
Yeah,
Or I'll go in and say, actually, I need a new X, right? I needed a new coat.
yeah.
So I went on sale, and I went in and I tried on a coat, and I loved it, and I bought it. And they were like, oh, do you want to try on? And I'm like, nope, not trying it on. Because if I try it on and it looks good, I know myself and I know I'll buy it. I'm just like, I'm not trying that thing on, because the second I put it on and
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it, right? So some of it is just, but I do think a little bit of that is age, right? Like I have had long enough to understand that I'm going to fall prey to that, to know I can't put, like, just like I can't have
That's
Oreos. Like
true.
I can't have Oreo cookies in the house, because if there's a package there, I will finish it. Like I can have ginger snaps, I can have chocolate chip cookies, I can have
Yeah,
ice cream. The Oreos, like, forget it, just not in the house. Like if they
yeah.
come in the same day, like just not having it, because I know I'll eat them, right? It's the same thing with spending money in that clothing store. I don't try anything on that I already, if I know I don't need it, I won't try it on.
You know, I do think some of it comes with age, but when you're saying that, you also have to want to make the change.
You have to be self-aware, right?
Yeah,
Self-knowledge is the first step here. But again,
yeah.
for me in my own journey, like understanding, I mean, obviously I made every choice I ever made in my life to spend money, but knowing that it wasn't all my fault, right? Knowing that,
Yeah,
whatever my depression era parents, because I'll just be honest, I'm a boomer, but my depression era, like, couldn't imagine that I wouldn't be responsible with money because they were so frugal. So I never got taught anything.
yeah.
Like, they just figured that I'd learn it because I would. So I never like learned anything or say like it,
Yeah.
or I was clueless. I don't know, but there always seemed to be enough money for whatever we wanted to do. And if it was important, the money was there. So that's just kind of like, I thought, oh, if it's important, I can spend money on it. That's the lesson I learned, right? So that doesn't actually work very well, because there's lots of
Yeah.
stuff that you can't afford, right? And what's the definition of
Yeah.
important? And once I realized that it wasn't because I was bad or
Yeah.
stupid or
Yeah.
ignorant, or foolish, it was like, oh, I get it. This isn't about me. This is about like the way we are marketed to in society. And this just, the marketers all know this brain science, and they're playing the other side of that, right? And they know what gets people going, right? There's a whole bunch of
Oh,
science do stuff. Speaking of gamification, right? That's why it works, because people know how to make games to make you want to play. Um,
oh, yeah.
so that So that to me, and I didn't learn that until I started doing this as a job. Like in my job, I had to learn about that stuff to learn how to build investment products for people to save who didn't really want to be saving and certainly didn't want to be fooling around in the stock market, right? So how do I build a product that will meet people's financial and emotional needs? So that was the beginning of my own journey. And then I kind of figured it out for myself too.
Yeah. I got a lot. I want to make sure I get these few questions in that we have left before our time's up, because I got the same question over and over again, and I know you hear it a lot, but please ask Anne where I should put my money. And I'm thinking, well, you don't even know how much or whatever, but meaning, is there something you would recommend putting their money in?
Yeah. So again, if you've got a 401k plan and you're saving for retirement there, put your money in the target date fund. I don't care whose it is. It's almost certainly going to work better than doing it by yourself. And that's because,
Okay.
yeah, like just put it in the target date fund and stop thinking about it.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
the second you get in there and start, I don't know, maybe I should have more, I don't know, emerging markets equity. I should be buying shares of, GameStop or whatever stock you want to buy.
Yeah, GameStop, AMC. Yeah, yeah.
If you want to take a little bit of your money and day trade with it on, Robinhood or whatever, like, God bless, good luck, but that's your gambling money. That's your entertainment
Yeah.
budget. And you might get lucky, you might lose it all, but that is not what you do with your long-term savings, because your long-term savings are going to benefit from, on average, your returns being, call it 6 to 8% every year. Maybe it'll go down this year. Last year they were up, 20 whatever something percent. Like, it's not going to be steady, but over time, over 5, 10, 20 years, your money's probably going to go up by about 7% a year on average. That means the money that you have invested will double every 10 years. Just double all by itself. So whatever you save, you'll have twice as much in years, and 4 times as much in 20 years, and 8 times as much. Like, it just kind of goes like that. So it's patient money, but it's money you're not going to need for a while. So that's the right patient money, right? This is not get rich quick stuff. You don't want to screw it up, because you're going to need it. If you want to do some speculative stuff somewhere else, go ahead. If you aren't in a plan, pick a target date fund or something called a balanced fund. Somebody else will worry about it for you. If you want to do a ton of research and like invest your own money, I'm not gonna make any specific recommendations. But there are plenty of firms out there who have good, and then look at the fees, make sure they're relatively low. Don't have to be nothing, but you want to keep costs in mind.
All right. Then let's. I know maybe you could guess this. The biggest question I got from the young kids: Bitcoin.
Okay.
I mean, that I got to end with that, because if I'm looking here, ask her about Bitcoin, and that's the kids in the 20s.
That is, I'll say what I told my kids who are 22 and 24, right? Who are all like, oh my God, crypto, I'm going to put a little money in Ethereum or whatever. And I'm like, look, when I was responsible for other people's money, right? And I managed, when I retired, $140 billion of other people's money. That's a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never, a lot of money, millions and millions of people, right? I never wanted to invest their money in something I didn't understand why it should go up. Like stocks, I why over time, like over 5, 10, 15 years, like stocks go up because companies are investing money, they're building, they're ideally, making a profit. There are reasons why, bonds go up over time less, but they go up because companies have to pay to borrow money, right? So that's what you earn, right? There's a story. Real estate goes up, right? Foreign exchange, like currency trading, like there's no reason for that to go up, right? That is speculation. That you make money gambling on in a hedge fund, right? Is the dollar going to go up against the euro or the Swiss franc? Like you can make, I used to trade like that, like that's kind of fun, but that's different than I'm going to put my money in something that I can predict over time should grow steadily because, right? Crypto, I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why it should go up. I don't understand how it will get used for real. Like, I don't understand it. So I make a personal rule of not investing money in anything I don't understand. And I've seen on the internet and stuff lots of, well, it's just like a stock. It is not just like crypto is not like a company that is making something you buy.
Yeah.
It may turn into something really big, and it may turn into zero. I don't know. And neither does anybody else. So if you feel like you need some action, take the money that you would have spent on your next vacation and open up an account and put it in crypto and like have fun. But the trick to invest in stuff is selling it and cashing out, because otherwise it's not worth anything. Like what you own is only worth what somebody else will pay for it.
Yeah. Well, we ended with that, baby. That's from Ann Lester. You heard it from her. Do with that information what you will. And I could talk to you forever about this. This is not a subject I know a lot about, and it's really even just helped me. I'm sure you helped so many. But before we go, I need to know, how can they find you? How can they reach you? Are you still able to work with anybody in any way? Because I know you said you retired.
So I retired, and what I want to do is talk to people like we're talking and get this word out. When my book comes out, I want people to get that book. I want to have them come hear me speak. I'm not selling anything. I'm not working with individuals. But you can find me on the website, which is annelester.com, ANNELESTER.com. You can follow me on Instagram, SaveSmartWN. You can follow me on Twitter with that same handle, and on LinkedIn. But to me, I just want people to get more knowledgeable about this stuff. But no, I'm not individuals. But you shoot me an email on my website. Reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter, and I'm happy to engage.
Well, I just want you to hear that. All this information she's just giving you because she wants you to save more and educate you. She's not selling anything, which is freaking awesome. But she will come speak for you.
You betcha. You betcha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she's good. Very informative and very funny. You would be so lucky to have her. So lucky to have her. Woo, woo. All right, Ann. I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much for being on Hey, I Got Something to Say. I appreciate you taking the time. And until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Toodles. Bye, Ann.
Thank you. Take care.